Hi guys, this is Abhijit Chaudhary here from SSGMC Shega. Here in this video, I'm going to discuss about the Common Internet File System. Firstly, we will have a look at the contents I'm going to cover in this video. So let's have a look at it. First is what is CIFS. In this section, I'm going to cover what is CIFS and its introduction. The next is where is CIFS and NetBIOS. In this section, I'm going to discuss about where the CIFS is used and its applications, and we will also see about NetBIOS. Then the next is CIFS internals. In this particular section, I will cover the internals of the Common Internet File System. Now, let's start with the video. Firstly, we will look about what is CIFS. The Common Internet File System, also known as Server Message Block, is a network protocol whose most common use is sharing files on a local area network. The protocol allows a client to manipulate files just as if they were on a local computer. Operations such as read, write, create, delete are all supported. The only difference being that the files are not on the local computer and are actually on a remote server. The CIFS protocol works by sending packets from client to the server. Each packet is typically a basic request of some kind, such as open file, close file, or read file. The server then receives the packet, checks to see if the request is legal, verifies the client has the appropriate file permissions, and finally executes the request and returns a response packet to the client. The client then parses the response packet and can determine whether or not the initial request was successful. CIFS is fairly high-level network protocol. In the OSI model, it is probably best described at the application layer. This means CIFS relies on other protocols for transport. The most common protocol used for reliable transport is NetBIOS over TCP, which will be described in the NetBIOS chapter below. Other protocols have been used for the transport layer. However, with the enormous popularity of the Internet, NBT has become the de facto standard. Although file sharing is CIFS' primary purpose, there are other functions that CIFS is commonly associated with. Most CIFS implementations are also capable of determining the CIFS servers on the network, that is browsing, printing, and even complicated authentication techniques. None of these subjects will be discussed in this document, however, only the basics of CIFS file operations. Now we will look for where is CIFS. CIFS protocol is most commonly used with Microsoft operating systems. Windows for Workgroups was the first Microsoft operating system to use CIFS, and each Microsoft operating system since then has been able to function as both a CIFS server and client. Microsoft operating system use CIFS for remote file operations, browsing, authentication, and remote printer services. It would be fair to say the core of native Microsoft networking is built around its CIFS services. Because of Microsoft's large corporate and home user base, the CIFS protocol is found virtually everywhere. Flavors of the Unix operating system also implement a CIFS client via the Samba program. Apple computers also have the CIFS clients and servers available, which might make CIFS the most common protocol for file sharing available. Now, let's start with the features of the CIFS. Many features of CIFS have been added to the initial core protocol over time. Presently, most Windows clients support at least 6 different variations of the CIFS protocol, with each version typically containing a few more features than the last. There are at least 100 different CIFS operations to date, and the list keeps on growing. The modestly robust feature set includes. Let's have a look at the features. First is file access, file and record locking, safe file caching, file change notification, protocol negotiation, extended file attribute handling, batch requests, and Unicode support. The CIFS protocol, however, is definitely showing signs of age. The protocol's feature set has been extended several times over the last 13 years, and repercussions are becoming evident. There are multiple CIFS packets that accomplish the same task, and many of the CIFS packets have undocumented options. The Internet Engineering Task Force, that is IETF, and the Storage Networking Industry Association, that is SNIA, are trying hard to remedy this dilemma. They are both working towards creating the CIFS 1.0 specification, which lists only a subset of the current CIFS operations that need to be supported into the future. The specification also tries to define more clearly the various packet options. There is much work to be done, but this is definitely a good start. And now we will move further to the net bias. So, net bias. This section will focus on the net bias functions that are commonly used by upper layer CIFS services. As mentioned above, net bias runs over many transport level protocols, but for modern day implementations, the TCP or IP protocol suite is by far the most common transport protocol used. The techniques and concepts for running net bias over TCP were documented in RFC 1001 and RFC 1002 in 1987. These two documents are very complete. RFC 1001 covers the concepts and methods, while RFC 1002 covers the detailed specifications. Within these three main services are described: main name service, session service, and datagram service. Each of these services and their relation to typical CIFS implementations will be discussed below. Included at the end of this section is a brief description of potential future net bias changes. And now, our last section is CIFS internals. So we will see about CIFS internals. In a nutshell, the Common Internet File System is a network protocol that allows file sharing between network nodes. The protocol is based around a client-server design where the client sends request packets to the server and the server responds back to the client with response packets. Each packet that is sent contains a standard header plus two variable length fields that are used for packet-specific information. Each packet also contains a command field that indicates the general purpose the packet is trying to accomplish. Common command fields indicate that the packet's purpose is to log in, open a file, read from a file, or write to a file. To gain a more in-depth understanding of the protocol, there are three detailed sections on CIFS below. The first section covers major protocol properties. The second section introduces the CIFS standard packet header by diagramming the various fields and defining their purpose. The final section has two typical packet sequence walkthroughs: logging into a server and a file open or read. So now here are some questions related to common internet file system. So just have a look at these questions and try to answer these questions. These are the first two questions, and now these are the next two questions, and here is the last question. So in this way, I would like to conclude my discussion about common internet file system. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please do like, comment and share. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.